Hello YouTube, this is going to be a video on men's rights activism and humanism. And this is going to be a video on male genital mutilation or circumcision. It's mostly just going to be on humanism, but it's going to be a lot of men's rights, and it's going to be, some of it going to be on genital mutilation, but I want to make it clear that genital mutilation is not to be the main theme of this video. The last two videos I have made have been mainly about genital mutilation, and that is not the take on this. I want to talk about more than just that, but I also want to say I've got a lot going on in my life right now. I've got some problems, so I'm actually going out of my way to bring you this video. I've got some issues, and I really don't feel like making this video, but I'm going to try to anyways, because I think this is some very important things that need to be talked about and discussed, and quite frankly, I think that it's beyond time these issues are more greatly discussed in our society, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Men's rights activism, first of all, let me state, men's rights activism is about human rights and human equality, and while I don't identify as a men's rights activist, because I think, or rather I believe, in human rights, and I think humanism is a better subject, or a better topic, a better defining word for that, because I believe in humanism. I do support men's rights also, I just don't define myself as that. But also, I don't even think humanism goes far enough, because I think that you have to take into consideration animal rights, and that's not even to consider the environment. Environmental issues and environmentalism that's very important, and there's also plenty of women's rights I care about. So all these things are very, very important to me. But I think men's rights activism or men's rights activists are important too. And I want to say that no men's rights activist is anti-woman. It's not about being anti-woman. If it was anti-woman, they would be called anti-woman activists, or they would at least have the word woman somewhere in the title, because men's rights activists don't sit around all day talking about why they don't like women. That's not what they do. That's like an incel, something like that. What they do is they talk about all day talking about men and men's rights, especially the rights of not even men, but boys or male children, and their human rights, and things like ending genital mutilation of infants and trying to end that. And even that they don't do all day. So this is not what men's rights activists do, and this has nothing to do with men's rights activism as far as being against women. That's bullshit. But I am myself a humanist, and I believe also, by the way, that I do believe women should have the right to an abortion. I feel very strongly and that Alabama should not be able to keep females from having abortion in the first term. I don't understand how the hell that happened. I think that that's bizarre. I think they are violating Roe versus Wade. I don't understand why the Supreme Court don't take action to overturn Alabama's certain decisions Alabama has made. I don't even understand how that's possible, unless they're just choosing blatantly to ignore the law. And if that's the case, then something should be done. If they think that it's not the law, then they should have to go through the proper legal channels to overturn the law. But they're not doing that. They're just letting Alabama kind of do whatever they want, and that's bizarre to me. I don't think girls should have their ears pierced in America. I am against female genital mutilation whenever it happens, mostly in other countries. If we're talking about children, if a woman wants to have a labiaplasty or something, that is totally up to them if they do it as an adult consensually. Same thing for men who want to be mutilated. That is totally their choice. It's not something that should be done to children, and that is something I have a huge issue with. And that is the overriding crux of a lot of what I'm against in terms of men's rights, or violation of men's rights activism, rather. I think that men have a right not to be mutilated. I think that the suicide rates among men overflow. Some people would tie that back to neurological issues flowing from genital mutilation, but not even counting or taking that into consideration. There are a lot of other issues: homelessness, suicide rates, prisons, or homelessness and there's connection to suicide rate, the prison rate, bullying in schools, teenage boys being bullied. If you look at the Catholic Church or the Christian Church and the overwhelming amount of sexual molestation cases in the Christian Church, There is a lot of things happening to males and men in this country and in the world and boards that are not being taken into consideration, that people are not worrying about. And those are issues that need to be taken into consideration. The oppression and the abuse of gay men, the mistreatment of gay men, as well as transgender or male to female transgender people, and for that matter, the reverse, female to male transgender people. People that are either biological male or now that are attempting to identify as women, or vice versa, biological females attempting to identify as men. They are being denied rights. They're being denied bathroom rights, being denied sporting events rights to engage in sports, and so forth, and certain things like that. They're being oppressed. And these are all things that need to be taken into consideration. And these are violations and oppression of people and of people's rights. And again, forget about it just being people, it's men's and male rights. And I'm against that. And I think it is time that we look deeper into male issues and what problems men have. And we're certainly not doing that. And that's not to say that women don't have problems. It's simply to say that there are a lot of problems that men have and males have, either completely or at least disproportionately to women. There are far more men in prison than women. There are far more homeless males. Men are the ones who fight in the front lines. Women cannot fight in the front lines. Men are the ones who are drafted. Women do not have to be drafted. If they join the army consensually, men are on the front lines. Women, at least for the most part, do not go on the front lines. Men are mutilated when they're born. Women are not mutilated when they're born. Men have a huge number of issues. Male gender dysphoria and issues concerning gender roles is something we still largely don't understand, and we don't make any attempt or real precedent to try to understand. We don't understand this. There's lots of issues concerning men, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration. Again, sorry, Scooby, I'm sorry. Especially taking into consideration, Scooby out of my chair. I didn't know she was there. But especially taking into consideration issues concerning genital mutilation or circumcision or the violation of infants, pretty much a sexual violation of male infants is what it is. An abusive procedure, it can kill your child. It kills between 50 to 128 children a year, and that's the risk mainly of that and castration and some other smaller botches. And of course, the main issue and some neurological problems might result from that, and that's not even the main issue. Because the main issue and the thing that it will do probably regardless is it will kill between 50 to 120, or it will kill 20,000 nerve endings, and it does kill 50 to 120 children a year. It does do that every year, but it can kill 20 something thousand nerve endings that will pretty much leave your child damn near impotent, and has some. I mean, it will kill your child's ability to orgasm. It's absolutely disgusting, and it's a wrong thing to do to someone, and it's wrong. And again, and that does happen because, again, I don't see how you can cut off half the skin of a penis that has nerve endings in it and not remove so many nerve endings. And they say 20,000, and they're removing quite a bit of skin. So of course it probably would be 20,000 nerve endings. So they're doing that, and that's quite horrible and abusive thing, or that's an abusive thing to do to a child. It's wrong. And I mean, that's kind of my take on that. I don't see why we still do that. I mean, that's about it. P666.